Okay, so just let me say a quick word about this video before it gets started. I've been going through the footage and I'm editing through it and just let me say this is kind of a really disorganized, almost kind of chaotic montage of me transitioning from my last room into this room that I'm in now. However, there are several pieces of really good information and kind of like just advice in this video, so please just stick around for that. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's go and get back into it. So as you can tell, most of the studio is packed up. My wife and I just recently bought a house closer to the town where I work now and where she works. It's just we're driving really far away to go to work every morning. So we bought a house. So I'm going to be painting a room over there, and I'm going to be moving all this stuff in, maybe recovering my acoustic panels. So I wanted to make a video on this whole process of how I'm just kind of arranging that studio and my thought process behind setting some of that stuff up. It's not the most ideal scenario in that room, so I kind of want to talk about how maybe I'm going to get around some of those issues and whatnot. But yeah, right now I'm going to go ahead and put all this stuff that I've packed up. Hopefully I can get it all in one trip in my truck. If not, it's going to be a two-tripper. But yeah, let's go and get into the video. This may be a helpful word. You may notice that the desk is pretty far away from the wall. It's not a very big room. I don't know the actual dimensions off the top of my head. However, I do want to get the desk and the speakers themselves off the wall a little bit. Typically I like to aim for like 16 to 18 inches. I think that's pretty much just something I read on a forum once, but it's done me well so far. I'm looking, that's probably about 16 inches at the moment, so that's pretty much the sweet spot that I go for. I'm gonna put some panels behind that later, but just in case you're like, wow, this desk is right in the middle of the room, it's because it's basically right in the middle of the room. So I've started hanging up what few panels I was able to get recovered today, and just a quick pro tip, I've done this several times now, and pretty much every time I've either been in a rented space or they've all been a rented space actually. So there's just been like sheetrock that I really didn't want to put like a ton of holes in. If you aren't using these like Gorilla monkey hook things for your acoustic panels, you're doing it all wrong. These make it an absolute breeze. You basically just like put the mark where you want it to go in, and here's this piece of sheetrock. It goes in, and then I don't know, it works really well, and it's literally like this small of a hole in the wall. And so like I said, if you're not using Gorilla hooks, definitely use those. And whenever I'm hanging up my panels, so the stool that I'm sitting on right now, my panels are 2 feet by 4 feet, and so on a normal 8-foot wall that would be 2 feet on the bottom and 2 feet on top left on the wall, and your acoustic panel would be covering 4 feet obviously. So whenever I'm hanging my panels, I like to find some kind of template to help me. So basically I'll use like this stool is exactly 2 feet tall. So I will just put the stool against the wall and put a panel on top of the stool. And that's just how I'm measuring. That way I don't have to go through with a tape measure and measure everything. So just set the stool up, put a little mark where the panel needs to be, put the Gorilla hook in, and there you go. Makes it super simple. Definitely use the Gorilla hooks. Definitely find some kind of template because it makes it where you can work significantly quicker. would hit a stud on the one I'm trying to show how easy it is. So as you can tell, we have reached a level of pretty much just absolute chaos in here. So I've got these two really tall standing panels that I used as bass traps in my last home studio. However, there's not really two uniform corners in the whole room, so I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with these big panels. I've thought about like deconstructing them and making smaller panels out of them, but I don't really want to do that. So maybe I'll test out the way this looks. Maybe throw a third one, just like stand it up right there. Okay, so I just realized I'm wearing a cutoff. You're going to excuse that. But I'm to the point in this room now where stuff's a little cleaned up. Not necessarily where it's always going to be, but now I'm going to hang up some guitars on the wall and maybe ceiling mount one of my lights. At my last studio I had, I think, 7 different guitar hangers up, and you guys know, if you've watched the channel in one of my videos, I talked about getting rid of extra gear that I never use. So I'm actually going to only hang up 3 guitars. I don't know if I'll ever be down to only 3 guitars. I think I could be down to 4 guitars, but I'm just going to hang up 3 guitars, and I'll have the 3 that I'm using the most often. Okay, so it's been about a week since I've had a chance to work on this room. Just normal everyday life stuff's kind of gotten in the way, and also partially though, I was waiting on the fabric store. It's kind of weird how many times I've been in a fabric store the past few weeks just trying to get fabric for the panels, but I was waiting on them to get more fabric in to match the panels that I already had covered, and then I also ended up not getting enough of that, so I had to go back and wait some more, and they never got what I needed. So I ended up grabbing this flannel it's just going to be for my clouds, so they won't be right beside any of the other panels. Hopefully you won't be able to tell too much. If it bothers me, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I was really tired of waiting on fabric. Anyways, I finally got these wrapped up. I've got fabric on the back of them to cover up the insulation. That is something I didn't do with my panels in the past. I'd never put a back on them. I don't know, I kind of would get excited that I had acoustic panels hanging up on the wall, and I just kind of forget about it. However, it does end up being a mess at times, so I decided to throw backs on these. But yeah, this is by far my least favorite part of insulating or treating a room, is having to put up the clouds. Putting up the cloud is probably my least favorite thing to do by myself. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put these clouds up, and then I'm going to work on putting up lighting and stuff, and I think we'll be good. I think the room will be done after that. But let's go ahead and get started on these clouds. So as far as like where to put your ceiling clouds, I'm not sure how much it actually matters, but from what I've read from Ethan Weiner, the first reflection point from your tweeter or from your speakers will be actually like right halfway in between the speaker, the front of the speaker, the tweeters, and your listening position. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to measure out from basically the wall, because that'll be like my standard. So out from the wall to about halfway between my speakers and my listening position, and then I'm gonna put the center of the cloud right there. Okay, so I got one cloud up, and like I was saying, putting up clouds in the studio is by far my least favorite part of acoustically treating a room. I use these little like hooks that you would hang like a flower pot or something outside with, and so I have one of these on the panel, and then I have one of them in the ceiling, and I have to use these drywall anchors into the ceiling. So it's a little bit of a pain in the butt, but you know, once you get it up there, once you get the first 2 on one side up there, then you can kind of just hold the panel up there with one hand and mark off where you want to put the other ones. So it gets a little easier after that, but I'm going to get this next panel up. I forgot to mention that hanging the clouds is also the point in treating a room where I'm most likely to mess something up basically beyond repair. So I had to scoot this over a little bit because for some reason, I guess I went too far into the ceiling with this and it was loose, just fell right out. Hate when that happens. I need to cut that. So I had to scoot it over a little bit. It seems to be working now. So I'm just gonna put this in another spot and hopefully it works. Okay, so the ceiling cloud is hung. I tried to get them as close together as possible. In times past, I've had a bit of a gap in between them, but every cloud that I've seen, I'm not sure that even really matters, but every cloud that I've seen, like at Andrews or something on Instagram, is usually just one big cloud. I have two 2 feet by 4 feet ones, and I just put them together for a 4 foot by 4 foot one. But yeah, I got that up, so now I'm gonna need to rearrange the room a little bit, get some stuff cleaned up, and then we will be pretty much good. Okay, so everything is pretty much completely set up and ready to go now. Just with this room compared to my last room that I did, and I understand a lot of you guys probably haven't seen the last room that I did, but it was like this big, like 250 square foot room with enough room to record drums. I had a couch in there. I had just a vocal booth in there. It was really just my attempt at pretty much a full-fledged studio. However, I don't know, I felt like I was a little over my head there. Here I'm completely back down to doing everything in the box. I have a spot set up over here on the side, a table for my Kemper. I think that looks really, really clean, especially with the little succulus right there. I did that because in my last studio I had my Kemper on the right of my desk, and that had my interface on my left, and I'm not left-handed, I'm right-handed. So having the interface to my right is really, really, I don't know, it just feels a lot better. It feels normal. I have the power strip over to the left where I can just kind of set it and forget about it. And I don't know, it's just been, I don't know, this room is just ergonomically better for me. It's been a ton of work to get the room kind of exactly where I want it, and it's kind of weird because it's a smaller room, but it did feel like a lot more work than my previous room. However, just like I was saying earlier, I have everything that I need in here. I'm completely in the box. I'm programming drums again. I never really stopped programming drums. I'm programming drums, recording with my Kemper, I'm mixing in the box. I have 3 guitar hangers and a guitar stand in here for the 3 guitars and the bass that I use most often. In the last spot I had 7 different guitar hangers, and it was kind of for like decoration, but it just kind of looked really chaotic. It's really, really clean in here. It feels like a really chill environment. I can come in here and relax, whereas in the other place it didn't really feel like that nearly as much so. But this room kind of like sums up this whole idea that I've had of like only holding on to the stuff that I actually use, and that it helps me be productive and helps me be better at the job that I'm wanting to get done. I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching the video. Smash that like button and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos from me in the future. Peace, guys.